All right. Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Good, Holly. It's so good to be here.
I know. Thank you so much for coming. I have
Thanks.
Olivia Perez here with the owner of Ocala Collective
Yeah.
with Compass.
Yes.
She's a great realtor here in town, one of the top producers. You do a lot of work in Trilogy, right?
I do. Yeah. Well, it's formerly Trilogy. Now it's a Cabana Reserve. I still call it Trilogy, but yes. Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of your niche, would you say?
Well, it's where real estate got started for me.
Love
Was
that.
there for 2 years selling, and then I was the lifestyle director there 2 years prior. So I kind of just got my start there, and I'm very thankful for it. So I'm
Love it.
still there, sort of.
Yes, I love that. It's really a great community. I really love the way that they have kept the aesthetics from, let's say, Ocala
Yeah.
and kind of kept that sort of nature vibe with the trails. And
Mhm.
I know anytime I have a question in there, girl, I got you on speed dial.
Oh,
Olivia,
thank
help
you.
me.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful community. I mean, it literally, like I said, got me to real estate. And if it wasn't because of that, then I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't even be here. But
Right.
it's been great.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So let's kind of talk. You and I met several years ago,
Yeah.
right? And I was tapping some large numbers as far as the scale went. And you were so sweet and just shared some of your journey and some of the stuff that you
Yeah.
had been through. And super, I feel like I'm on the other side. I feel like I've definitely climbed up the mountain. I saw what that high number looked like on the scale and said, I hate it here without really even understanding how much it affects your overall, let's say, mental health, your
Mhm.
inside stuff
Yeah.
that you work through as far as the emotional stuff. So my journey, my version of what I've gone through,
Yeah.
and I'm just super thankful for you and your
Oh.
encouragement to get me to where I am today.
Oh, girl, you look. First of all, you look amazing.
Oh, thanks.
I
I
mean, when I
appreciate
saw
you.
you even today, I was like, oh my God, Holly.
Yes. Like half of me. That's how
Yeah,
I
it's
feel.
amazing. And I'm
Yes.
just going back into like our conversations, like over the phone or in person, of just realizing as a woman, like who you are, how you are, whatever that looks like. But
Right.
knowing that once you make whatever step it is that you need to make in your life, and whether that's like weight or mentally, emotionally, like you get to another place as a whole.
Amen.
And like even coming here, like the office, your career, what you've built, like absolutely 100% it is based on your hard work, your work ethic, you're a badass.
Oh, you're
But
sweet.
when you actually can align that with just how confident you are
Right.
in you and your skin, it changes your life.
Right. And I think, like you said, before we came on air, just the confidence level, right? So you don't even realize that you're lacking that.
Mhm.
Like you feel like you're showing up and,
Mhm.
I'm doing the best that I can until you pass a mirror and you feel like, or you walk into the office and you're like, yeah, we're
Mhm.
doing this thing. Like,
Mhm.
yes. So I don't even think you realize until you realize. You
For
don't know till you know,
sure. Well, I think many times in real estate and in conversations with other business owners or excuse me, your clients, that you're just used to this maybe shell or just person that you are. And then once that kind of cracks and the shell falls, you're like, oh my God, this is me. And the level of confidence, like you go into a room, you own it, from clothes. Like,
right.
you put on clothes, you're like, holy fucking, oh my God, this looks
Yes.
amazing. Just things like that will change your life.
I think that's the shell analogy is because, girl, I had a lot of shells. I had a lot of cracks. So I was able to shed a lot of that. And it's definitely brought me to where I am today. And I certainly couldn't be more thankful. I couldn't be more thankful for our friendship
Oh,
and,
thank you.
kind of the mentorship that we've been able to have over the
Yeah.
years. So thank you.
No, thank you as well. I mean, we've
Yes.
both been through it, and it's life.
Right.
It's life, and then you throw real estate into it.
Right.
And it can't get any more fun.
I'll go with funner. I mean,
But I do like
we're
more
funner.
funner.
Yes.
or just like wild and unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that real estate is that, I think that just by itself, when you kind of take out, let's say, the life and part of things and real estate by itself, I think that sometimes HGTV kind of sets like this tone that, we're carrying fancy bags and driving fancy cars and drinking pina coladas at the country club,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I don't go to the country club very often to have pina coladas. I'm out here grinding it
No.
out, taking calls late and trying to figure out, I mean, especially in our market, right?
For sure.
We've seen definitely a change of longer days on the market. Sellers kind of having an expectation. We're still way up here. And we're like, No. And, trying to really show them the data of what that looks like today and
Yeah.
just kind of the struggle. I mean, I know that we wear it, so when we have a seller that reaches out and says, "Hey, Olivia, what's going on? Why haven't we had any offers?" You're like, like, "Oh
Your
gosh."
heart, like,
Yeah, yeah, cuz you take it personal.
of course, of course. And I mean, we strive to do so it's such a great job, and I mean, we get paid for our performance.
Amen.
And so when the market dictates something else, whether it's too high or the house doesn't look the way it should, it hurts to get those calls, or you get, that anxiety, that stress level goes up.
Right.
And I do think that this is the era of the social media and the Netflix TV shows. We get it all the time of like, oh, you and your team, like, you guys look like you're having so much fun. And we do have fun,
Right.
but they don't see where I have cried with my team. They have cried with me.
Right.
We've lost deals. I mean, from the success to the mistakes, I mean, you see it all.
Right.
And I don't think that people, really understand that. And also they think it's an overnight success.
Right.
So they don't see the late night hustles.
Right.
Again, as a business owner, like, you have had late nights where you're like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pull this together?
Right.
The processes, the systems, the budgeting, where is this coming from? Like, people don't see that.
That's right. They
You
don't.
just see like the cars,
The fanciness.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it sets kind of, again, an unrealistic expectation. I mean, I can't tell you how many calls I field from brand new agents. Like,
Oh,
hey, I
yeah.
just got my license, so I'll bring them in to interview, because 1 in 5 makes it,
Mhm.
and that's been kind of our statistics. 1 in 5 agents have what it takes to hustle it, to have the ingredients to be a successful agent. Because like you said, it's just not like one hat. We're wearing all these hats and trying all of these things, even just as a 1099 as an agent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they'll say, oh, I just want to be able to make my own schedule. And I'm like, oh, that's what you think, right? And I mean, I guess to an
Yeah.
extent we can manage it, but ultimately that time we're at the doctor's,
For
or
sure.
that time that we're able to kind of squeeze an appointment in, it just means that we're bumping something else to the,
For sure.
like, to the back end of
For
the day.
sure.
So just an extension, if you will.
For sure.
So you brought up, we talked about TV shows.
Yeah.
You
Ah.
were like our local celeb, right?
Oh, well, I mean, thank you. But I mean, it was great. It is great. It's the American Dream TV,
Yes.
and it's been amazing.
So
it's
walk us through that. Like, how did that start? Like, how
Ugh.
does that work?
So I got approached by the TV show and just said, hey, we followed you on social media and we think that you'd be great to audition for a part as one of the cast members for the Ocala market. And so I did and got it. And I mean, we film every month.
Love it.
Typically, I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot behind the scenes, so much. And so we just go around Ocala, and I got the privilege of interviewing our very own Ben Marciano.
What a great guy.
Oh my gosh.
He is a
amazing.
phenomenal
He's
guy.
so much fun, so real, so down to earth. And so got to do that. And like really the focus of it is just bringing light to Ocala. I've been here now for 9 years from Miami, and I didn't want to come here, first of all.
Right.
And because I didn't know what was really here. And so I think that so much of it is a misconception of what's in Ocala, what is there to do?
Is it a hick town?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then like me, like this like crazy Latin, 30-year-old coming to Ocala was just like, my friends would be like, what are you doing there? Like, do you work on a farm? And I'm like, oh my God.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm working toward it. No. But it's just, shedding light on really like our amazing city.
I love
and
it.
how the growth has happened. Like downtown is completely different.
It's a whole vibe
what
down there.
I first 9 years ago came. So
Yes.
yeah, doing stuff like that, just showcasing,
Love it.
our city.
Well,
which is fun.
listen, thank you from
Thanks.
our community to you for
Yeah.
showcasing us. And you're right, we definitely have seen some huge growth. I mean, our new construction, just on the residential side, let alone the commercial, extensions that we've seen. We've seen some industry come to our city. So we definitely have some really great stuff that's happening for the local Ocalians. It's
Yeah.
like, what's happening? You go down 200 and you're like,
Oh.
oh.
Well, and I think like the local that have been here for so long, I mean, it's not easy for them. It's
Right.
not easy. It's a change.
Agreed.
But with anything good, there's growth.
That's right.
And if we want to keep it good, we've got to keep growing.
That's right.
So I'm
You're
happy.
absolutely right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for featuring us and
Yeah,
shedding
of
us in the very best
course.
light over here in
Yes.
our little village. I'm sure that from
Totally.
Miami to Ocala is a bit of culture shock, right?
Very.
Yes.
Very much. But I mean, I'm thankful for it because I did need that change of pace.
Right.
But it is nice to see like different cultures and different vibes and, more restaurants and the little places you can go to.
Right.
And just even like the history. I think that Ocala has done such a great job with like shining who it really truly is
Right.
with that new like modern twist. It's like, the modern farmhouse sort of thing.
Yeah,
like,
I could get behind
merging
that.
two
Yes.
worlds, which I think that Ocala has really done a good thing with.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I know I was just seeing so it's on the year anniversary of when they moved the Hatfield and McCoy
Yes.
what Ma Barker's. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The Ma Barker house from Ocklawaha. So we're just kind of stumbling on the year
A
anniversary.
year.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, super cool when they drove that. Well,
I
I guess
remember.
floated it across
Yeah.
Lake Weir. But that's a really cool part of our history
Mhm.
here. And I mean, there's still bullet holes in the house. There's still some
Oh my
cool
gosh.
history of a time that is way before where we are
For
right now,
sure.
right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of my favorite Ocala history stuff. All right.
I
So
love it.
listen, in light of Halloween,
Yeah.
scary season, right? And just so we're clear, I'm not a fan of being scared. I don't like being scared. Just a few weekends ago, Hannah and I went to this Newberry corn maze. Worst mistake
Oh,
of my
I've
life.
been there.
Girl, I just wanted to go. But I was
Did
already
they have
like
the chainsaws chasing you?
chasing you. And girl,
Yeah.
I'm not running. I don't care how much weight I've lost. I am
I ain't
not
going
running.
nowhere.
So, and I felt like I was already invested. Like I already waited in the line. I already
You
paid the
paid.
money. Yeah. So I was like, we just gotta, I mean, did you die? No, but
No.
also,
But almost I peed my pants.
right. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of being scared. So we're going to talk about kind of some scary real estate stuff
Yeah.
that we have been a part of, whether it was a house, whether it was a situation. And I'll go first.
Go ahead. Go.
All right. So I was, it was more in the beginning of the year or of my career. I was probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years deep, let's say.
Okay.
And I was showing a property to a mom and a young daughter. And when I had my showing instructions, I was showing them several properties. So on this specific property, I had vacant, and the lockbox code on my broker
Yeah.
situation. So when I pulled up into the driveway, it was in Silver Spring Shores. I will never forget it. There was a red truck in the driveway, and I thought, that's weird because it's supposed to be vacant, but thought like maybe a neighbor parked there. They're mowing their grass,
Yeah.
trying to get the car out of the way. Everything is fine. So I knock. I spin the lockbox. I make access to the property, and straight ahead is the kitchen counter. It has a bar that sticks out, and there's a McDonald's bag there and a set of keys that are right there on the counter. And I thought,
Oh my gosh.
now there's no furniture in the house. There's nothing else that would indicate that the house has somebody in it. So I kind of walk towards the counter, and I felt like I was in like, what's that Scream movie? And
Oh
they're like,
yeah.
hello.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Hello?
echoing.
Yes. So I look to the right, and there's the master bedroom, and there's like some blankets and some pillows, and let's call it like a makeshift bed that is
Yeah.
on the floor. So my spidey senses really started to tingle, and I thought, there's someone in here. So I went back to the McDonald's bag, and I touched the food that was in it. And not that I'm trying to put like my paws all over somebody's food, but also like, how long has it been
Is
sitting?
it warm? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's keys, all kinds of things. So the hamburger was warm, and I thought, someone is in this house and they're going to jump out of the closet at any second, and I am not here for it.
Yeah.
So, hey, get a quick look around because we're out of here.
We're
I
out.
don't know what's going to happen. So when I left there, my heart's in my throat. I'm like, there's definitely someone in the house, and I don't want to like alert the buyers of,
Because they were fine.
they were, I think, kind of feeding off my energy where I was saying,
Yeah.
hello, like, is someone here?
Yeah.
And then when I was like, guys, I think it's kind of in our best interest if we go ahead and step out. And I said to them, I don't know what's happening. This house was indicated that it was vacant. Clearly, I feel like somebody was in there. We'll see if we can come back to it. We ended up finding another house that day, so it was fine. But I called the listing agent, and I was like, hey, I just feel like I don't know, but also I feel like someone's hiding in like a linen closet
Yeah.
or somewhere, and I had to leave. So I don't really know what happened with that, but I could tell you for free someone was definitely hiding in the house.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
so scary.
So you
So
didn't ever see anyone. It was
no.
just that eerie, weird feeling.
Yes, for real.
Oh my
Yes. Yes,
gosh.
yes. It was a
Oh,
situation.
that's scary because even like as a woman again, like thank God at least you weren't alone.
Right.
But it's just like you have your clients with you. So my situation was a little bit, well, it wasn't vacant, but it was this beautiful, big historic home.
Oh,
And
they kind of carry
yeah,
their own
and
energy.
that was
Yes.
already scary.
Yes.
But it was a listing that I was going to have, and it was the owner walking me through it. But it was, he had rented it out for 5 years to these tenants.
Oh gosh.
And it's always like, it makes me uneasy. You always like if the owner tells you, hey, I don't know what we're gonna see right now,
Hmm.
it's like, oh
Do 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 do.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we walk in, and I swear to you, it looked like a scene from like The Hills Have Eyes or Chains. You know, like for example, like when you go into those old gas stations and there's like two creepy old people
And like the
and they
lights going. Bzz,
yeah,
bzz. Yes.
yeah, and they just kind of like look over at you. It was like that. There was like two people sitting on like these old recliners, like just going like that. The TV was on like this, like it wasn't any. It was just like
Oh my gosh.
from the 1970s. The house smelled like horribly, and then I could. So I mean, I'm walking. I'm like, hi, how are
Yeah.
ya? And they just like
Oh my
kept
gosh.
rocking. And so we go in, we look at the house. I mean, the house was gross. And so we're going up the stairs. If it wasn't because I was with the actual owner of the home, I would have thought, I'm going to be killed in here.
I got to get the
And
hell
like,
out. Yeah.
I'm going to be eaten and they're going to put me in the
Oh
refrigerator.
my God.
I just kept on thinking like Hostel, Chainsaw Massacre, like all of those.
Because you kind of had the senses that were checking that, right? So you had the
Yeah.
smell that was horrendous, right? We had the energy from an old historic home.
Yes.
We've got some creepy people that are just rocking away in a chair. We've got some static that's happening on the television of the Andy Griffith show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then like I had just also met the owner. So as I'm going up the stairs, of course, I'm like, what if they're in cahoots? What if like the old people in the rocking chair are in cahoots with the owner?
And it's just
And
all,
like it's
oh
all
gosh.
planned and they're getting me upstairs and I'm never getting out of here.
Oh gosh.
And so anyways, like we make it upstairs again, so bad, like deplorable conditions.
Mm.
And then I'm like, how am I gonna sell this place? And
So not only are you worried about your safety, now your like marketing brain
Yeah,
is spinning
like-
like how,
Forget
what can
about-
we do?
forget about being chopped up. How am I gonna sell this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the grave right now. How are we going to get this thing to the closing table?
Yes. So then we come out, and then the property had two separate like in-law suites, like quarters, like living quarters. So the owner says, okay, so the my tenants have two of their sons are living in both of those homes with their girlfriends and their dogs, and one of them has kids. So I'm like, okay. When I tell you, I wanted to call CPS.
Oh my gosh.
It was that bad. Like there were probably 4 dogs in there. And again, like I'm coming in, you can see like, you can even see the ground, like diapers, like the dog. I mean, it was just so bad.
like deplorable.
Mm. And it was just one of those situations where I thought like, if it wasn't because the owner was there, that gave me a little bit more sense of
Safety, security.
Except when we were going up the stairs,
Yeah.
and I thought they were in cahoots. But after that, I mean, it's scary to see how people really live.
Yeah, that part.
And to see like how, even as a homeowner, imagine if you're selling your home and you have these tenants that you've entrusted and they're renting your home, and this is what it looks like.
Yes.
So needless to say, it took a massive hit because they had to like gut everything, paint and take out carpets. I mean, it was just a whole undertaking.
So when you listed it, did you have to have everybody move out
Oh
and then
yeah.
have it
Oh
cleaned
yeah.
out
No, no, no.
first?
And I told him, I said, we cannot, first of all, I won't allow anybody to come in here. I mean, it was just really, really, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they moved out. We got everything changed from carpets. They had to repaint everything. We partially kind of staged it. But it was very odd
Yeah.
and scary.
Yeah, those definitely scary stories. I mean, I feel like we have some scary situations that happen just kind of in our day in and day out,
Yeah.
but definitely some of those scary things stand out in your mind and you're just like, what is happening here?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, as agents, and we take on so many roles,
You're right.
like therapists and I don't know, just attorneys, and we're not attorneys, and like all of these things. I was commenting yesterday that we had a buyer that we did not know. He reached out to us. He was a lead. Honestly, I can't remember from where now because it was a little while ago, but we got him under contract and never heard from him again. Got escrow money. I mean, the whole thing. Never heard from him. And the best friend somehow got our phone number, and the guy passed away. And yeah, and it was just like one of these things that they're so unforeseen. Like it, almost like in shock, because we had another partner of mine on my team had met with him, and I had to call him and tell her, and she was like, "What?" Like,
yeah, that is crazy. And I'm sure you had kind of an escrow dispute as a result. I mean, how does a deceased person sign off on the release of their escrow? It's got to go to court.
well, thankfully the wife signed it
Oh,
over.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
So, but that was a whole, I mean, they were just dealing with so much and the shock and stuff like that. So just all these weird situations that we have to
Definitely
get into.
weird situations. I know we had I don't want to call it a scary house. I'll call it a deplorable house.
Yeah.
This individual called and it was kind of like an investor had approached them and had offered them, let's just say $100,000. The property was really worth like probably 300 according to, our wonderful computers
Yeah.
here. And then when I got there, I was like, what? They
Oh
had
my
like 16
gosh.
dogs, like literally these little dogs. And Olivia, there was dog poop everywhere. Like
How?
I don't even know. And like some of this dog poop, not that I'm a professional like poop identifier, but like it was orange. It was like all
Like
of
these
these.
dogs are sick.
There was like I was just like, we just walk over dog poop. I mean, I guess. So, yeah. So, when we did photography of that one, I mean, we had to price it, like you said, it took a big hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a situation that, they didn't have the ability to move before. So it wasn't even like we could, the best we could do was like pry the dog poop off the ground but there was like
God.
stains everywhere. It was a whole situation. But yeah, I mean, I think to see how people do things, right? It's just kind of
It's very scary. And especially, I mean, like us, that like I know how you are, you know how I am, like we're just very, it's mind-boggling
right.
to see, how people think. And especially like when you're gonna have people in your home.
Right.
Like if I'm hosting something, then you're expecting people to come over, so you go all out or you do
Right.
this, and it's like, didn't you know we were coming?
Right.
Like,
I mean, I feel like we scheduled it. I mean, I didn't just show up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's scary.
It is definitely scary.
Oh
Scary.
my goodness. What's the, like, have you ever, okay, this is kind of like a topic, but like in Ocala or Florida, like, do you carry?
I do.
Because, okay.
I do. So in fact, my 380 is on my desk right now. And
we're safe.
Yeah, we're safe. We're fine. Everything's fine. We had a situation. So Seth, this was just last week. So this is a very current event.
Oh my gosh.
So Seth calls me at like 7:30 in the morning and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that there was a guy here in the office. Like I was in my office and, his office is kind of at the front of the house, if you will. And oh boy, just walked in the front door and just started making a tour through the office. So Seth got up and he was like, can I help you with something? And the guy starts asking like, do you have rentals? And Seth's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of rentals on the market, and just kind of really tried to, be friendly enough to, let's say, tame down any type of negative or nervous energy, I should say.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, well, that's unfortunate. We kind of talked about it and went about our business. Well, about 10:30 that same morning, I was with an agent in my office. We were chit-chatting, discussing an offer, and I hear a knock at my back door. Well, as you can see, I mean, unless you belong here, there's no reason for you to be at the back of the right? The back of the building. So I get up and I kind of look out my window there and I don't see anybody. And I was like, "Did you hear a knock?" And he was like, "No, I didn't hear a knock." And I was like, "I definitely heard a knock." So he was like, "Well, do you want me to open the door?" And I was like, "No, I'm fine." So I open the door and I peek out and I look to the right, nothing. I look to the left, and there's this guy just standing up against the fence. And I'm like, "Did you just knock on the door?" And he said, "Yes." And like for a moment, I didn't put two and two together that potentially this was the person that was here from this
Oh, okay.
morning. So he's like, "Do you guys have water?" Uh, For a second, my brain thought like maybe he was a car detailer that was here for the business, kind of.
Oh,
So
okay.
like, so I thought like, does the building have water?
Yeah.
So I said to Brent, which is the agent that I was speaking with, I said, "Do we have water?" I know we have water in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So he says, "Let me go check." So I was under the impression like there was maybe something wrong with the water. And then he comes back with a bottle of water. And I was like, "Oh, did you mean a bottle of water or the utility water?" And he was like, "No, a bottle of water." I said, Tell me your story. Because were you here this
Yeah.
morning?"
What's going on?
Like I started to like put two and two together.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yes, like basically he's homeless and has found himself in just an unfortunate situation, you know?" And my heart goes out to
For
that
sure.
person, but also I don't know him, right? So I called my mom and I was like, "Hey, can you bring my gun to me?" Because it was at the house, just because.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Listen, if I was here by myself and you would have knocked on the door, I don't feel like I don't want to see somebody get hurt.
Sure.
I mean, it's
Sure.
just kind of a dangerous situation. And I don't want you to be met with the barrel of a gun
Sure.
when you've got some innocence about you. But also, you can't be hanging out
For sure. Behind the building.
behind the building."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I say that to say yes, I carry, and in fact, I'm currently looking for another gun because I feel like one needs to be here, right?
Yeah.
And then I need to have something that is with me
Sure.
and not maybe so big, something
Yeah.
I can kind of stash in my
Yeah.
pocket. What about you?
Yes. So, I mean, I'm like a city girl, so I am not used to any of like that or caring or anything like that. And it didn't even really cross my mind.
Right,
And then, as you know, like I got divorced. I'm on my own. I had Luca, which was my yellow lab.
your
So
protector.
yes, my everything. And then he passed, and it was like a shock because even in my new neighborhood when I moved, like everybody knew him. I walked him like 13 times a day, and then
Right,
all of a sudden, I don't.
right,
And although my neighbors are great, like people notice like who's out, who's walking, who has the dog, who's not. And so I just thought, you know what, like I'm by myself now, and I'm gonna get one.
yep,
So I did, and it's been great because I feel better.
yeah,
So I mean, I just got another one. Same thing because I was like, well, if one's like by where I'm sleeping, I don't want to keep
right,
checking it. And so when I have showings, and they are showings that I don't know who they are, or we always have buyer consultations, but sometimes you don't, like it's all on the phone, you don't know them.
right.
And there was one circumstance where I was fine, but I just felt a little uneasy. It was two gentlemen that I was showing a vacant home to.
Mm,
And I'm like, and so I texted my team, here's my location, here's where I'm at, call me in 10 minutes. And I had my gun,
right.
and I'm
Yeah, and
alive.
I mean, it does definitely cover you with a safe of
Yeah,
or sense of security. And my thing, it's not like you have space for a 9mm in your bag, and it's not
yeah,
like you want to be obvious,
of
like
course.
that I'm packing a gun.
Yeah.
What kind of gun do you have?
A 6 hour.
Okay,
The number, don't even ask me. It's black. I don't know.
uh,
But it's like
it's little.
it's little. It's
Yes,
great. That's why I went in there. I was like, listen, I don't know anything about a gun. I need this, this, and this. This is what I'm gonna use it for.
right.
Or hopefully never use it, but it'll be in my purse or my car.
Or my back pocket.
Yeah.
Right, because I
Hmm.
mean that was my thing. Like my gun is in my car,
Hmm.
right, or in my purse. It's in
Yeah.
my car when
Yeah.
I'm showing a property. And what good does that do if someone hems me up in there? Right? I mean, not a dang bit of good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like readily available. So
Yeah, we do
anyway.
as realtors. So, for all your realtors that are listening, we do have an app that is provided to us by Florida Realtors. That is the
Yes.
Forewarn app, which is super helpful in kind of
Yes.
giving us some insight, right? So, there are people out there that don't have the best of intentions,
Mhm.
and there's a majority of people that do. So,
Yeah.
so we just got to be safe.
That app has helped us so much because now I'm sure with you guys, like we screen all of our calls,
Yep.
even if it's just not a real estate call, but I'd like literally, if I don't know the number, I will screen them first through that app. So it has helped me immensely. And actually, another agent that I know in a different market used that and it was able to help her get out of a situation. It was somebody that it was a fraudulent thing. They were posing for as an NFL like manager. Like it was they
Oh,
said, "Oh, I'm representing such and such NFL player. I want to see your property." They forewarned him. It saw like felony, and I'm nobody's judging if anybody has a record, but this guy, I mean, it was red flags,
right.
and she did not go on the appointment, and it saved her from I don't know what. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Victoria had that situation. She had run somebody through forewarn, and the person had just gotten out of prison for like murder.
Oh my god.
So she was just like, thanks, but no thanks. I'll go ahead and decline this situation. And
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it definitely is super helpful. And, we're thankful to Florida Realtors for
Yeah, for
providing us
sure.
with that
For keeping
service.
it safe.
Yes, yes.
Oh gosh.
Well, listen, Olivia, thanks for coming
Thank
and
you.
chatting with me today.
On this scary, spooky edition.
That's right. Yeah, let's call it that, right? And celebration of November. So we've got
Yes.
good turkey time coming
Oh
up,
my
and
gosh, I know.
some of the best. My favorite season
I know, I
is
love it.
coming upon us, and
I love it.
Christmas is kind of my vibe, and I'm really looking forward to doing the.
Did you
dang thing.
decorate already?
No, but I have like
Okay.
7 Christmas trees. So
So they're coming out.
Yeah,
They're coming
yes,
out.
they have to I feel like it's like a whole thing. Like you have to have a back of a truck, and you have to go like to the back of my property.
Oh
You
my
have to load it out.
gosh.
I have like a whole shed. It's so embarrassing.
Oh
I
my
have a
gosh.
whole shed full of Christmas stuff. And which I'm thankful that now we have a whole office, so I can bring some of my stuff
I'm sure your
here.
husband's like, get, take it.
Just get all this stuff
Take it.
out of here, right? And it is a lot, but also like I love it. But my kids are getting older,
Good.
so I don't know how much longer because it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was
Yes,
a
yes,
blast.
yes. It's always great to have you to chat with you.
It's
and
easy.
It is so
I
easy.
know, I
Yes,
know.
yes.
Thank
All right, girl.
you.
Well, listen. Thanks again, and have the best day.